Right. This dagger. Mark of the Huntsman. Once per turn, action, pay 2, attack with go again. When this hits a hero, you may choose to destroy this and mark them. So it has a on-hit effect, meaning that through cards like Hurl or Flick Knives that cause the dagger to hit outside of the normal attack, right, you can still trigger mark. If this is attacking a marked hero, this gets +1. Yeah, no. I gotta say, right? Chaos Assassin comes out, super exciting, super intriguing to see how it's actually going to work. 6 different hero abilities to go through, right? And then we get the ability revealed, how it's actually going to work. Random, okay, not that great, but fine, right? And then we get this dagger, and I gotta just say, I'm losing interest steadily, right, for Chaos Arakni, at least Marionette. I still think Slip Through the Cracks is going to be interesting to toy around with depending on what Chaos exactly is, and I do hope Chaos is a properly supported talent in the set. But as it stands, yeah, no. This dagger, I cannot view it as great, right? I don't even know if I can view it as good, right? Especially compared to Cindra's and even Fang's dagger. Just, yeah. Anyway, let's go through Arakni, why don't we, and tie it into the dagger and see what we think. So, Arakni Marionette. Your attacks with stealth are attacking a marked hero get +1, and when this hits, this gets go again. Then your Chaos ability, right? So at the beginning of your end phase, if an opponent is marked, you become a random agent of Chaos. So exciting, you get to sporadically swap between 7 different hero abilities as you go between Arakni Base and Arakni and Agent of Chaos. Interesting, right? Great. I don't think so, right? I think it's just too much of a random mechanic. They've been a bit conservative on the abilities of the agents for it to be a random mechanic. But the top line, right? Your attacks with stealth are attacking a marked hero get +1, and when this hits, this gets go again. I was really hoping for a nice, impactful dagger that was something like stealth. If this hits, mark the target, something like that, right? So you can clear a mark, you can benefit from Arakni's base ability, and then still set up another mark. The problem I have with Mark of the Huntsman, right? So again, you can trigger mark through Flick Knives or Hurl. The problem is, both of those interactions occur before the attack action resolves, meaning that you mark and then you clear the mark itself. And last time I checked, well, Hurl doesn't have stealth, so Hurl won't benefit from Arakni's main ability. And Flick Knife in itself, right? Again, you could use it with Mark of the Huntsman to get Mark of the Huntsman, it's +1, but then it's going to clear the mark. So in either case, Flick Knives isn't this on-the-board utility to set up an agent whenever you want, right? You'd have 2 procs, basically, if you take 2 Marks of the Huntsman, to end your turn marking your opponent through Flick Knives. But again, you can't, unless the attack action that you use Flick Knives on doesn't hit, the mark is going to be cleared by that attack action, and you're not going to get the Agent of Chaos proc, right? So the only way we're seeing so far to get cycle, right, between base Arakni and Agent of Chaos is to have a action card or an instant card, hopefully an instant card, right, because an action card wouldn't really line up as the last thing you want to do on an assassin's turn, right? You want to end with a nice impactful attack action card to mark your opponent. So this dagger just doesn't fulfill the utility that I really wanted for Arakni, which was your main tool to set up going into the Agents of Chaos. And speaking of the Agents of Chaos, right, how else do they interact with Mark of the Huntsman? So we'll go in order. We'll start with Black Widow, right? So Black Widow, once per turn, attack reaction, discard an assassin card, target assassin attack gets +3. If it has stealth, it gets when this hits a hero, they banish a card from their hand. Now, the whole wording of assassin attack, right, and then the stealth check, I was really hoping that the dagger would have stealth to just maximize the effects of the Agents of Chaos, right? So if you don't get the right assassin card in hand, you have the dagger to always fall back on and get the maximum effect, right? When you're taking it with, technically a lesser attack, because the dagger is going to swing for less than an attack action card. But no, you still get the +3, but you don't get the stealth proc if you do use this with the dagger. So again, there's not that fallback synergy that I was really hoping for to make whatever agent you get highly more consistent. So instead now, we are stuck in taking a big stealth deck, right? Because I don't think just a raw +3 is that great because you're still losing a card. You really want to maximize and get that +3 and the stealth. Granted, again, it is just amping the consistency of your deck, right? Being able to discard any assassin attack to turn into a generic, right? A basic buff card is fine. Just, again, not great for a hero ability. And, again, you're going to be sporadically swapping between these. So, you know, it's luck of the draw which effect you actually get. Now, the other sort of thing I want to mention is I do really wish that Arakni wasn't random, right? That they toned down these abilities. Instead of a +3, what if it was just a +1? I think if all of them had just a +1, right, Trapdoor we'll get to and we'll have to tweak it a bit differently, but if they were just a +1 with that bonus ability, the hero ability would be, you know, fine, it would be sensational, but it would balance out being able to pick which agent you could go into, and I really think being able to pick what agent you can go into is a lot more impactful, and I really hope is supported in some way by equipment or other cards in your deck. Because as it stands, getting one of 6 hero abilities to then synergize with whatever random hand you draw at the end of your turn is just not doing it for me, right? So then, number 2, we have Arakni Funnel Web. So discard an assassin card. Again, target assassin attack, it gets +3. If it has stealth, once again, it gets that bonus ability. So, again, no synergy with the dagger, right? It's basically the same as Black Widow. Black Widow banishes a card from your opponent's hand. Funnel Web banishes a card from their arsenal, so these are pretty just your stock standard staple, right? They are nice attack reactions. I just don't think they're worth all the hoops that you do have to jump through to get these abilities, right? And then we have the first interesting one, number 3, Arakni Orb Weaver, which is definitely a lot more interesting, especially with breakable daggers, right? But again, if you could use those daggers to chance into Arakni Orb Weaver, definitely more exciting. But most likely, you're going to try and break the daggers on the turn that you get Arakni Orb Weaver to then maximize the effect and your lapse, right, of not having a dagger. Because if you break the main dagger early, right, and then you don't get a way to re-equip it, be it card printed, right, hopefully again, fingers crossed, we get more support, or Arakni Orb Weaver, then that's just a huge loss in your turn, right, in what you're normally going to be doing every turn as Assassin, swinging both weapons, right? So, yeah, Orb Weaver, your Carbon Spider Fang, right? It's basically what it translates to. Your Carbon Spider Fang costs 1 less to activate. Once per turn instant, discard an Assassin card and equip one of these carbon, graphene, Chicillary, right? Maybe. Token. Your next attack with stealth this turn gets +3. I really hope that these daggers have stealth, right? Again, I want stealth synergy with the dagger. But yeah, so once per turn instant, meaning that you turn into it at your end, right? So your opponent's turn start, you get 1 chance to use the ability, and then on your following turn, you can end up equipping up to 2 of these token daggers. These token daggers cost 1 less to activate. I assume they will still be 2 costs, right? So 1 cost as long as you have Arakni, Orb Weaver, and then they go back to 2, unless they have some break mechanic in themselves. But given that the main dagger has a break mechanic, I'm going to assume that these are the intended dagger that you sort of have for the majority of the game, right? And then when you get back into Arakni Orb Weaver, then you're free to flick knives one away and re-equip a dagger, right? But other than that, your next attack with stealth gets +3, so overall, Chaos Arakni, base Chaos Arakni, is definitely in stealth. They both just benefit, I'm talking about slip through the cracks here, right? They both just benefit from taking stealth, so it does seem like stealth is just the real big mechanic in Contract, has sort of been put on the back burner. Then, number 4, Arakni Redback. Once per turn, attack reaction. So again, same sort of gist. Discard an assassin card, target assassin attack, gets +3. Then, if it has stealth, it gets go again. So, out of all of them, I do like this a bit more, right? Because again, this is your dot connector to be able to go, Arakni's daggers, then, maybe try and set up, and then at least, 2 more attacks by way of using the stealth and go again. It's unconditional, unlike base Arakni. It is just if the card has stealth, it gains go again and a +3. So as a attack reaction, this one is definitely above stock standard, right? +3 is your basis, and then gain go again is normally a much bigger premium, especially when it's unconditional. Then we have Arakni Tarantula, which is the dagger synergy effect, right? So whenever a dagger you own hits a hero, they lose 1 life. Once per turn attack reaction, discard an assassin card, target dagger attack gets +3. So again, if you're breaking your daggers to set up your mark to try and get, well again, I keep going to that train of thought because that's how the daggers should work in my mind, right? That the daggers set up going into the agents, but it's not. If you mark off of the dagger, you're not getting the effect, right? Well, unless you mark off the dagger's base hit, right? So as long as your opponent doesn't block the dagger, you're able to mark them and maintain that mark, right? Yeah. So there is that little bit of synergy, but I don't know. Again, if you're Arachne Tarantula, you're not marking off the dagger because you're going to return to the brood and you're not going to get the proc, right? You can try and maintain the mark for a whole turn, but that means you're not attacking. So yeah, it's just weird thinking about the play lines to me, right? Other than that, again, +3, normal. Or for a weapon, it's normally a bit greater, right? If you think of Pummel or Razor Reflex, right? No, they're a bit less. Razor Reflex is just a plus, right? There's no bonus ability to it. Yeah. But the lose 1 life when a dagger hits, I was hoping for a bit more bang. Hopefully, again, it seems like it would synergize and combo really well with Arachne Orb Weaver. You go Orb Weaver, you equip the token daggers, go back to base Arachne, have a turn, and then want to be in Tarantula for that following setup, right? But again, it's all random, so the chance of that happening is 2 1s and 6, so 1 in 36 to pull that off, right? Yeah, no, doesn't do it for me. And then lastly, we have Arachne Trapdoor. When you become this, you may search your deck for a card. Banish it face down, then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. Oh yay, right? More conditions to our deck list. So obviously to benefit from Arachne Trapdoor's ability, unless Chaos is a play from Banish Zone mechanic, is to run traps, right? If Chaos itself is play from Banish, then Trapdoor has that utility of being able to banish any card from your deck, right? And if it's a trap, you may play it. If it's a Chaos card, and the Chaos card has a banish mechanic, right? Then you can use that. So fingers crossed that's what we get. Otherwise, in order to benefit from Trapdoor and basically have, 1 in 6 not be a dead ability, you need to run traps in your deck. And I'm sure if you're going to be run, but again, once you run out of them, then what are you going to do, right? You've run out traps. So, I don't know, if it was banish a trap from your graveyard or deck, maybe that'd be a bit more exciting, right? Because then you just always have a stockpile of traps to utilize. Defensive, right? Yeah, it is nice. It's basically +1 intellect. You guaranteed 1 trap to play against your opponent, 1 trap that they can't interact with and deny unless it's, stop defense reactions. But yeah, it's nice. It's just not enough to offset the random mechanic in my honest opinion. So again, exciting, intriguing. It's going to be fun for draft, right? It's definitely worth giving it a go if you probably don't want to win. But overall, I just it needs so much more to outweigh the random mechanic, right? Because as it stands, you are taking marked as a in-deck mechanic, right? Not an on-board mechanic that I was hoping for, because you don't get the repeat uses out of the daggers unless you get, re-equip daggers. But then, scenario-wise, you're just taking the re-equip dagger cards over mark. So unless it's a stealth card that is re-equip dagger and basically bridges those deck staples. I don't know. What's the wording, right? So basically, for your decks up for Arachne, you need stealth, because stealth is where all your interactions are. You probably still want contract as a way to slightly mill your opponent, generate silver if you're still taking the main equipment pieces for assassin, right? So that's already 2 sets of cards that you're trying to run in your deck. You want marked so that you can make use of Arachne's ability, so that's a 3rd, right? You want dagger re-equip, right? So that's potentially a 4th, and now you want traps. So 5 different styles of cards that you need to blend and mix into your deck list to make the full effect of this Arachne's ability versus that of Slip Through the Cracks, where just stealth, right? You don't have to worry about mark, you just need stealth and whatever else you want to make that really work. So it's a lot more flexible. This is a bit restrictive, I feel, right? But again, we haven't seen the bulk of the cards yet, so all it will take is stealth cards that mark or stealth cards that re-equip daggers, and I'll be a little bit happier. But yeah, the random mechanic I think just is too big of a gamble, right, for a strategic game like Flesh and Blood, that the abilities need to be a little bit greater, right, or they need to be a bit weaker, and the random mechanic was taken out of it, so that you could actually combo these agents with what your hand is going to be, right? That's my thoughts. Yeah, a little bit disappointed on the dagger, to be honest. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed. See ya. Right, so just as I finished uploading this video, right, I went away to pack. I'm about to leave, well, hour or 2, give or take, right? Graphene Cassillary, did I say it right? I probably didn't say it right still. I looked it up. There we go. Calycera has been released. So, let's go through it, and I'll just tape it to the end, right? So stealth, once per turn action, pay 1 to attack. When this attacks a marked hero, the attack gets go again. Now, much nicer, right, than the main dagger. But at the same time, all this sort of becomes, for me, is your Chaos Arakni. You want to high roll, right? As soon as you get Orb Weaver, you're getting 2 of these daggers no matter what, right? So you basically want to break 1 dagger preemptively so that you can use the instant proc to equip one of these daggers on your opponent's turn and then have the other one on your turn, because this is just significantly better with base Arakni's main ability, right? So you set up a mark, and then this is a very decent opener, right? Because it gets the bonus go again twice, weirdly, right? But it also gets the +1. So it's nice. It has stealth. It synergizes with all the other Arachnes. Yeah, I guess that's the rationale for the main daggers being slightly weaker, right? Is that you want to find this and have 2 of these equipped, or even have 1 of these equipped and then have 1 other dagger, right? So you can go this, that dagger, something else, right? But it's still a little bit awkward to me, right? I wish it had something, maybe piercing, right? Just if it was attacking a marker as well, just something for a little bit extra oomph, because obviously on the turn you get it with the fact that it's 0 cost with Orb Weaver. Beautiful, right? Super strong. But then, on your main turn, you're paying 1, you've probably spent a card to set up mark anyway, right? So that's not that fantastic. And then you're going into this anyway, so it being 1 less than a normal dagger is not that fantastic, but it is still a very nice dagger nonetheless. Again, I gotta say, right, my intrigue was Fang, Arakni, then Cindra. Now it's definitely Cindra, Fang, and Arakni is dead last, but yeah. Other thing to note, it is an assassin token weapon, right? So it has the token type along with the token rarity. And the reason that is important is because you cannot start with these, right? You cannot have 2 of these equipped from the get-go, which would be nice, or 1 of them, right? Take 1 of these, probably take 1 marking dagger. Well, again, I'm basing that on how many mark cards have been revealed so far. But yeah, you can't start with them, right? The only way to get them is to roll into Orb Weaver and then use Orb Weaver to equip these daggers, right? But yeah, as stealth at least, so that's the interaction, and good. Once you find it, any Arachne you roll into besides Trap Weaver, Trapdoor, right, is going to synergize with the dagger no matter what hand you have. So in the late game, right, it's definitely some extra oomph, but, you're going to run out marking as well, is the other thing to think about. Unless there's some other guaranteed onboard way to mark, you're going to run through all your marking cards, and then I guess it falls slightly flatter than normal daggers. Yeah. We'll have to see how it plays, right, and what all the other cards reveal and puzzle out. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.